What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/StoriesAboutKevin. This story's called So Many Kevins, So Many Headaches. I've recently discovered this subreddit and realized I have met so many Kevins in my life, it's no longer funny. I would also like to note that I don't know a single Kevin I've met long enough to have multiple stories of just one, but multiple stories of multiple Kevins I've encountered over the years. Edit, with the exception of certain family members, whom I keep minimal contact with. I loathe stupidity and tend to avoid those that have managed to be lucky enough to survive as long as they have, because I don't want to be around and become the collateral damage when it runs out. So, here goes. Kevin number 1. My brother once stabbed a knife into the side of our house, making a hole into the inside of the house. He then left the knife in the hole and our dad found it. Not knowing which one did it, he proceeded to whoop us until the guilty party confessed every hour on the hour. His philosophy was the non-guilty one would beat the guilty one when he left, and he'd confess before being whooped again. This went on 8 hours, and every time our dad left, he said, "I don't want him to think less of me because I did it," as his excuse for not confessing. I explained he already knew he did it because he was the one getting beat. He never confessed to it. Also, Kevin number 1, my brother discovered video of the adult variety shortly after getting our first family computer. He proceeded to try printing out video of the adult variety and it never printed. The printing tray had no paper in it. When my parents went to load the tray to print something out, the printer printed out around 200 pictures of video of the adult variety. I got in trouble for it and they burned it. He then asked, "Hey, did you get my printouts after they chewed you out?" I beat him mercilessly. Kevin number 2. My nephew on his birthday went with his stepfather to his job. He asked what he was getting for his birthday and his stepfather told him hangers. He then proceeded to run around the store yelling, "My daddy's buying me hookers! My daddy's buying me hookers!" at the top of his lungs repeatedly. He was 10. After multiple talks about what a hooker is and an ass whooping, he still calls hangers hookers. He's 22 now. Kevin number 3. I worked in a warehouse a couple of years ago that had a sorter with tilting tables that circled constantly at high speed. A new guy started who was being trained to place items on the sorter. He was told specifically not to stick his hand or arms in between the tables while it was running. 2 minutes after leaving him unattended, he comes up complaining about his arm hurting. We ask why. "I stuck my arm between the tables on the sorter to see what would happen." We had explained beforehand that he could break or lose his arm if he did that. His arm was broken. Kevin number 4. Same job, another new guy. We handed him a box cutter and cut-resistant gloves to do his particular job. 5 minutes later, he comes running up with his hand gushing blood from a huge slice across his hand, yelling, "You told me these gloves were cut resistant!" I proceeded to tell him that they are cut resistant, not cut proof. When asked how he got his hand cut, "I wanted to see how good the gloves worked, so I took my box cutter and tested them." He laughed and thankfully never returned. Kevin number 5! Another genius comes to work at the same job, manages to last 6 months on the job despite being an absolute idiot. Starts flirting and talking to a Mexican girl that just started. She doesn't speak or understand English. He doesn't speak or understand Spanish. He hasn't done anything. For an hour, we find him talking her ear off. When he was asked what the hell he was doing, he replied, "She's teaching me how to speak Mexican." When we told him why that's not possible for the most obvious reasons, and that she couldn't teach him how to speak Mexican because she speaks Spanish, he replied, "No, she's from Mexico. She speaks Mexican, not Spanish." He was later fired for stealing products from work and selling them on Facebook. Kevin number 6. New job and another rocket scientist. This guy was from Chicago. He couldn't tell his ass from a hole in the ground. Hired to be a picker. Did the job for a month. I handed him a pick location to grab a couple items. He looks at me and says, "Where is this?" The aisles have numbers on them. That's the first number. The second number is the section of that aisle. The third number is the subsection and the level it is on. 2255 3A. Same way it is for everything you pick. I literally had to walk him through the process step by step because he couldn't figure it out. How was he still working there? Same guy asked me about online dating. I told him to go on Google, the website, and search online dating and click on something when the results popped up, or go to his app store on his phone and do the same thing over his head. Proceeded to ask if he had to give them his name and address to use it. I explained that it was necessary to use the site, but they didn't share that exact information with other users. Then asked why they needed it if they didn't use it. Really? To verify your identity and location to match you to someone in your area, unless you want to be matched with someone in Russia or something. Said he always wanted to date a Russian woman, but it seems sketchy. Still, Kevin number 6 asked me about Amazon. Asked me if they needed his name, address, and if they took cash, check, or credit cards. What? They need your name, address, and card information to send you anything. Asked how to order stuff and if they'll steal his money or if someone else will. Jesus Christ, why me? Note, Kevin number 6 can tell you exactly why heroin is called crank and an absolute plethora about crime of every nature. But common everyday crap is over his head. $14.50 an hour is not enough to live on. I ask why that is and where he lives. He tells me he lives in such and such apartments and they're super nice. I Google them. They're $1,200 a month, utilities not included. He also tells me he has a nice house he keeps in Chicago and pays for. I ask why and he says, "I go up there every other weekend for my union and don't want to pay for a hotel when I'm up there." Yet, you pay for an entire house you don't live in and go to a union in a state you no longer reside in? God, strike me or this idiot down. I just can't take it anymore. Kevin number 7. Different job and another prime human being. A Covina, in this particular case, have a cardboard baler at work. You put all of your cardboard in it, not just boxes. She proceeds to throw all her boxes in it. She now only has flat cardboard left. She throws it on the floor in front of the baler and walks away with her gaylord, a cardboard bin for her cardboard. I and another coworker stumble across it. Same girl brings another gaylord to the baler. Sorry if that's not the right way to pronounce that, by the way. I'm just assuming it's like the name. We ask if the cardboard on the floor was hers. She replies, "It was in the bin, yeah." We look at each other in an okay look and ask why she didn't put it in the baler. "I thought only boxes went in there." I just can't. I shake my head, throw my hands up, and walk away while my coworker explains it's for all of the cardboard and not just cardboard boxes, and you can't just leave it on the floor. Kevin number 8! Same current job. Guy starts 3 days ago. Worked in several other warehouses, says he hates warehouses. Currently working in a warehouse. I'm currently stuck babysitting this guy. Not training, babysitting. Training implies he can learn. You know that meme where a girl hands another girl a bottle? It's pointed the wrong way. Girl keeps squirting the bottle in the opposite direction and the other girl has to flip it around for her? I'm effectively doing exactly that. All day, every day with this guy. Takes multiple long 30 minutes to an hour bathroom breaks, and I get more done by myself. Guy also tries talking to me about sports. I don't follow sports. No interest. Continues talking to me about sports and wonders why I don't know or care about them. The guy always carries a backpack around when he should always be wearing a helmet, and not for the job. Just because he can't afford any further brain trauma. Kevin number 9, a Covina, my niece. She is technically book smart, but absolutely life illiterate. No sense whatsoever. She got pregnant as soon as she graduated high school. Dates a new guy immediately after. Claims he's sterile and can't have kids. She gets pregnant back to back by the same guy twice. He still believes he didn't get her pregnant, though it's been proven. My niece claims,
I didn't know you could get pregnant again after just having a baby. I thought it was impossible.
even though we explained in detail why it's the highest risk for getting pregnant again multiple times. She stayed with my sister and me in her family's house during one winter. I like it cold. They used a kerosene heater in the living room to keep the electric bill down. Covina cranked the thermostat up to 85 and left the kerosene heater on. It was over 100 degrees in the main living area. Her and her 3 kids were running around in their underwear with her chiming,
It was so cold in here, so we turned the heat up.
"Then put on some freaking clothes, moron! It's winter!" Jacked the electric bill up to over $900. Proceeded to blame me for the thermostat and electric bill. My family knows that I like the cold like a polar bear loves ice and snow. Nice try. She's been offered HUD, practically free housing for her and her kids, food stamps, and free daycare by the state and government. All she has to do is go in and fill out for it. Won't do it because 1,
I shouldn't have to drive around to apply for that stuff. They should just give it to me.
and 2,
I don't want to live where they're offering me HUD. It's full of crackheads.
she's literally living in a crack house with a crackhead. There's many other Kevins I've encountered, but these are the most prominent of them. I genuinely don't know how people like this have survived this long. I'm convinced that either God is constantly intervening to keep them alive, or they have the best blind dumb luck I've ever seen. I don't know. I really don't. But whatever it is, universe, please stop helping these suckers out. Nobody will blame you. Geez, next this guy's gonna say, "Oh yeah, freaking let's eliminate all the disableds and stuff." I'm just joking. I know you didn't say that. However, I'm getting the vibes. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're just joking. But well, honestly, they do have a point. It's a miracle that these people have made it this far. And honestly, the whole niece thing, while I wouldn't do something to that degree, I would like to say I'm pretty intelligent, but I'm an idiot at the same time. Like, I can carry a conversation. I can argue for days about anything. Argue, debate, whatever you want to call it. However, none of it is useful. This story's called Covina Gives Directions. This Covina used to be my roommate. One day we decided to have a small party at our apartment, a pizza and beer type of thing. Covina invited this one friend who would be coming to our place by public transit. He's never been to our place before, so she gave him directions over the phone. This is before smartphones were a thing and people carried regular talk and text cell phones. First, let me explain what the directions should have been. Friend would be traveling southbound by bus on A Boulevard. The closest bus stop to our place was where A Boulevard crosses B Street. After getting off the bus, friend should head west on B Street. In other words, make a right with respect to the direction the bus was heading, or just walk the way he's facing when going down the bus's steps. For about a minute, the cross street he would see would be C Avenue, where he is to make a left. So go south on C Avenue. C Avenue then crosses our street. After making a left on our street, just look for our address, 1234 Our Street, and you've arrived. All in all, about a 5-10 minute walk from the bus stop. The festivities were in full swing at the apartment when I got a call from friend who says he's been walking for 30 minutes and has not seen our street. Now this tells me that he can't possibly be on C Avenue because if, for whatever reason, he missed our street, he would have hit a river, a dead end, 2 blocks later. If he's been walking for 30 minutes, that means he's way off course. I ask him which way he went after getting off the bus. He says left, i.e. east on B Street instead of west, because that's what Covina said. I tell him to turn around, go back to the bus stop, past the bus stop, left on C Avenue, left on our street, and look for the address. I feel really bad for the guy because this is a brutally cold Canadian winter night, and I can't go pick him up because I've already had a few drinks. He shows up about 40 minutes later, face all red, icicles in his beard and half frozen. Friend gives me a hug and and kiss on the cheek hello and says, "You, OP, are good at giving directions." He then greets Covina and says, "You, Covina, are not good at giving directions." Anyhow, after giving friend the correct info over the phone, I went to ask Covina, "What the hell? You got friend lost. Why did you tell him to go left after getting off the bus?"
Well, yeah, 'cause he needs to go left on C Avenue.
"But he needs to walk west down B Street to get to C Avenue."
I just thought that part would be obvious.
How would that be obvious to someone who doesn't know the area?
Oh.
You know what, Covina? I suck at directions too. That doesn't make you stupid, I hope. This story's called How My Wife, the Kevin, was saved because she is unable to unlock the front door to our home. I've posted stories before, and just like all the others, I will start off by saying that I love my wife with all my heart. She is amazingly loving and forgiving and is so incredibly kind, she'd probably have a heart-to-heart with the devil and make him rethink his ways. That being said, she's a total Kevin. And you all seem to enjoy the stories, so here's another one. About 5 years ago, for about 6 months, my wife had a habit of drinking too much, getting way too silly, and having ideas that any sober person would say wasn't a good idea. For example, on our honeymoon, obviously we were drinking, we were in a wine tasting town and it was our honeymoon. She wanted to go out into the halls of our hotel and take the cats to school. Yes, for real. Now, she might have been 100% joking, and in her liquored up state forgot to tell me that she was joking. She thought the cats, our 2 purr babies, were going to be late to school and she had to take them. A few months after that, we were at home having some after-dinner drinks and chilling on our awesome sofa when she asked me if I could make her some avocado toast. Sure, no problem. Also important to note that my wife was currently naked, which she does sometimes. She just likes to lie around at home naked every once in a while. So up I go into the kitchen and start making her avocado toast when I hear the deadbolt to the front door clicking and unclicking over and over again. That was because my naked wife currently was trying to go outside for a walk, which we also do a lot of at night, going for walks. But because even sober, she doesn't know how to unlock the deadbolt on our front door, I was able to hear and find out what she was doing, thankfully convincing her it was a bad idea and getting her all comfy on the sofa again. That's a nice relationship. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.